Hey bestie, first off, Happy New Year's. It's 2026, which is crazy because time just flies by so fast, but I think last year, 2025, was a year of shedding parts of your identity that haven't been working for you, and in doing so, really understanding who you are and who you want to be in this lifetime. And moving forward, we need to talk about you devaluing yourself. In your journey of going through understanding your dreams and understanding what thoughts and beliefs are truly yours and which ones are ones that you've adapted along the way in life to fit in or survive in the environments that you've been in, you start to realize that you've been abandoning a lot of your own dreams, like the ones that you held as a kid, the ones that you used to daydream about but didn't feel like you had the agency or power. It wasn't the right time to take steps towards those dreams, so you held on to them for later. Now's that time. Because as you go through this journey of shedding your skin, you are starting to grow your own wings like a butterfly coming out of a cocoon, and you get to develop your own patterns. You get to bask in your beauty, and that is coming back to your dreams, to the things that you truly want to do in this lifetime and who you really are at the core. Now, time is sacred. We all only have so much time in our human bodies on this world. And I think that sometimes the fear of death and the reality of morality drives people into feeling like they need to rush through their lives. But that rushedness takes away from your presence. It's actually pretty counterintuitive because then you can't be present throughout your living your life. And then you're not actually living your life, because the living is the being. The living is being human, being the human being, and being requires presence. So with that being said, if time is limited and you being the human being that you are, the unique individual, is limited, why are you spending it, abandoning your dreams, and spending your time and your energy and attention working on building other people's dreams that aren't aligned with yours? And let me make that distinction really clear, because there is no problem, absolutely no problem, and it's actually quite beautiful to be able to collaborate with people and help them build their dreams. But if that is not aligned with your personal dreams, then you are abandoning yourself. There is a way to help other people build their dreams while building your own dreams, and that requires alignment, that requires awareness, and that requires presence, and that is what I am talking about. If you are not living in that state, that is how you let your life pass you. So with all that being said, when you spend a significant amount of time, energy, and attention working towards somebody else's goals, that starts to become a part of your identity. You absorb it. But holding on to those parts of your identity that aren't aligned with your essence is quite dangerous. That's where problems, like unrealized manifested problems, come up in your life. It's where resistance comes up. It's where the negative type of conflict, the unresolvable type of conflict, the conflict that you're not willing to look at directly and be truthful and honest about it and communicate about it, that type of conflict comes up. And that's where the life that you build starts crumbling apart, because that life is not according to your soul's blueprint. So in building this awareness, you start to rediscover yourself. And at least in my journey of rediscovering myself, I've realized a few different steps that I've taken And at the time, I wasn't aware that there were steps. But now in hindsight, I look back and I realize that these are kind of the steps that I followed to rediscover myself and honor my own dreams and stop undervaluing myself and my time and my energy and my worth. So the first thing that I had to do was detach. That means detaching from the identity that I built. Once I had that awareness that the identity wasn't something supporting who I wanted to become, I had to detach from it to really figure out what was mine and what wasn't mine and what I wanted to be mine. Because at the end of the day, once you're aware of that, it's all a choice. What do you want to hold on to? So the first step is detaching. For me, it showed up as doing activities that really honored me, honored my soul, that I felt helped me take my autonomy back. Activities like dancing, yoga, meditation, working out. These are all activities that really helped me feel like I was in control of my body and showed me through actual physical practice and movement of my body that, hey, you are in control. And then I started doing other activities like making music, something that allowed me to express myself. Like, once I got into that flow state, there's no thinking anymore. I get past the barrier of me trying to intellectualize everything that's happening, and I say, hey, your brain has to get out of the way now. It's your time, it's your soul's time to speak. And so I got to really understand my feelings because I would put myself in a situation where I was in flow state and I was creating, and I really just, all I could do was feel. And I would record that, and the songs that would come out of me just showed me the truth. It was like a mirror held up to me. And that's something that helped me kind of detach from the identity that I had built that I wasn't really aligned with. Some other things that I did to detach from that identity that I had built was I started building a daily meditation practice for 5 minutes at the beginning of the day, minimum. Sometimes I would sit there and want more and, meditate more if it was needed, but just a minimum of 5 minutes. I'd sit. First thing I did when I woke up, I'd sit and just breathe into my day, breathe into my body, and clear my mind. And then at the end of it, set my intentions. Is my intention today to explore? Is it to build? Is it to work on X, Y, and Z? Is it to go work out? Whatever I was really feeling like I needed that day, because I was able to detach and just clear everything, all the thinking, I was able to feel into, because your body holds so much wisdom, and if you're able to just feel into your body, it will tell you so much of what you need to do. Another thing that really helped me was having a break. That was having a break from my daily routines, having a break from my life, having a break from my job. Before I quit, I had taken a leave of absence to see what I would be like without that identity, without the full commitment of quitting my job, because that's a big deal. I just wanted to take a few months off and see who I was when I wasn't working every single day, because for the past, literally my whole life, I had never had a break like that to really sit into myself and see who I was when I wasn't working a job. When I didn't have the incentive of money kind of dangling a carrot in front of my face, guiding me this way or that way. It also could be a vacation. For me, I just had to get out of the city that I was so used to living in and spend a few weeks. I went to Portugal and I just learned how to surf. It was something I always wanted to do, and it was something that took me away from that routine of my life, that I could really discover myself in a different context. And, I know that vacations are expensive, but if you have the opportunity to take a break or even find a way to take a vacation that isn't expensive and get yourself out of the environment that you're so used to being in, because that environment kind of conditions you, you build up certain habits within that environment, and your body subconsciously craves certain activities because it sees the same stimuli every day. And finally, another great activity to do when you want to detach is to have some alone time. Set a day where you just are on do not disturb. You have the whole day to yourself. If you can't take a whole day, take a few hours, block a half day, find a way, because the alone time that you get is invaluable. You have to sit with yourself and really face yourself. Find an activity to do. A lot of the times I'll do like a certain art activity. I'll paint, or I'll make music, or I'll try to learn a new skill, learn a new song on the guitar, and I'll just spend time alone, away from media, away from a screen, or at least social platforms that have algorithms that feed you content. Away from content, away from scrolling, away from even YouTube, and just really be with yourself, because it's those moments, especially if nobody else is around, you be with yourself physically too, because those moments, that time you spend with yourself, you really get to understand yourself and detach from stimuli that may influence your perspective one way or the other. So the second step, and this is kind of intertwined with detachment, but it's the next step that follows detachment, is to look inward and listen to yourself. Listen to your emotions, listen to the feelings that you're feeling, listen to your thoughts, let those through. So some activities that I do that really help me connect with myself and look inward are, after my meditation practice, I have a daily journaling routine where I just brain dump 3 pages into a journal to kind of get any thoughts out, to understand myself. And a lot of the times what I'll do is I'll go look back on those every time I finish a journal, which usually takes me like a month to finish a journal. But every time I finish a journal, I'll go look back on what I wrote and see what I was feeling in the moments, and start noticing like different patterns in my life and in my behaviors, in my thoughts. Because a lot of the times having that awareness of what's influencing your behaviors and how you're feeling is a great way to be able to change things that aren't working out in your favor and identify that and do something about it. It's holding yourself accountable. And like I said, some other things that really help me do this are art forms like music and painting, creation, playing, exploration, writing. Anytime that I'm creating, I really get to just like have a mirror held up to me and see what's really going on inside, and that helps so much. And you take what you learn from those things and you bring it into your daily practice, into your work, into the other things that you're doing, the things that you're building in life, the bigger picture items. And with this, there's kind of like this emotional guidance. Once you have awareness of your emotions, emotions are a great tool to help you understand what direction to move in, to help you take care of yourself, to put boundaries up when they're needed, to get rid of things that really are not working in your favor, to identify your goals, to find your underlying patterns and see what you want to do about them, if you want to do anything about them. And that goes into my next step that I usually take to bring my value back to myself and stop undervaluing myself, which is to return to your life. Like, go back. If you were on a vacation, go back. If you took a day off, go back to your routine and clear out what's wrong. Clear out what's not serving you. Actually take action to do something about the things that aren't serving you. For me, when I came back from my break from work, I realized that my work wasn't serving my goals anymore. And I had felt so much closer to my goals. And I had a stronger relationship with myself where I really felt accountable for the actions that I was taking and to show up for myself. And I realized that what wasn't serving me was the 10 hours a day that I was working that drained me, that took my energy and attention and didn't allow me time to build things of my own. So I cleared that. That could be taking a break and having some alone time for yourself and realizing some of the relationships that you really value in your life, and also realizing some of the relationships that maybe aren't serving you. Maybe you're used to being around these people and they provide you a certain level of comfort, but in reality they're not respecting you, or they're not listening to you, or they're superficial. And those superficial relationships never help because they're taking your time, your energy, they're draining you in certain ways, even if it's not super explicit, even if they're not inherently treating you poorly, it's still draining you, and it doesn't serve you or them in the long run to keep feeding energy into those relationships that aren't serving you. So clearing the things that aren't serving you once you realize they're not serving you, and actually taking action to do something about that, which is clearing them. And then finally, there is, and this is the next step. Finally, the next step off of once you clear the things in your life that aren't serving you is to make desired changes, to make the additions. If your plate is full and you realize, I don't know, maybe you have sweet potatoes in front of you and you want sweet potatoes, but your plate is full of rice, or I don't know, something that you don't really want to eat, like you have to clear your plate to make room for the sweet potatoes. You only have so much time, energy, and attention. Think of it like a budget. If you have a certain amount of money in your bank account or from your paycheck and you want to buy furniture, you're gonna have to figure out what furniture is most important to you and get that first before you get all these other things and fill your house with shit that you don't need, clutter. You really gotta start being picky. And so when you clear your plate, you have room for more, and you can decide what the things that you want to add are and start adding those things. But that really is only helpful once you've cleared your plate. Because if you don't clear things before, those things that you haven't cleared will come back and take your emotional energy, your attention, and they'll continue draining you, so you don't have energy to give to the things that you really desire. So that's why the step of clearing your plate first, clearing what's not working for you, is important before you try to bring in what you think will work for you. And a lot of the times there's this cycle of, you'll clear, you'll bring something new in, and then you'll realize that thing is actually not meant for you. But you can't really realize that that thing is not meant for you if you don't give it the proper time, energy, and attention and devotion or commitment for a certain small period of time to actually get to understand it before you realize, hey, yeah, this isn't what I want. And then you clear it. And it's a cycle. It goes over and over and over again. You clear, you add, you experience, you detach, you clear, you add, boom, over and over again. And that's kind of the cycle of getting to understand yourself and learn yourself. And as you repeat it more and more and more, you will be able to value yourself, your time, your energy, your attention so much more than you did before each cycle. And it grows, it compounds. And as you do this, you start to draw boundaries around the things that you really care about, so that things you don't care about can't come and interfere with that. And it's this continual, beautiful learning process that you go through of, if you draw the boundaries up and then something else comes in, you will be able to pinpoint what it is that isn't working for you, or whatever new thing comes in, and get rid of that. As the better you have your boundaries set up, the better you will be able to identify infiltrators or distractions or things that aren't working for you, because you have this system that does work for you, and you have intentionally built it to work for you. And because it does this, you don't have to think so consciously about each step, and you can have it's like an orchestra. You can have all these different parts of your life work together with each other to harmonize and build something even greater than each individual part. But you have to be able to focus on one step at a time. Make sure that each section of your orchestra is playing the part you want it to play, so that they can all harmonize together. And a lot of the times, and this is just a musical analogy, but I think it applies to everything, is like less is more. Don't add anything unless that one thing adds to the overall system in a way that the system could not be enhanced any other way. And by building these boundaries, you're able to really, really identify that. So I hope this has helped you. I hope this is I hope this system is something that you can take some bits and pieces and experiment with in your own life to really focus on your identity and your worth and building your dreams, so you stop undervaluing yourself and stop letting other people do the same. Until next time, thanks for sticking around. Ciao.